Hello, Western Civilization 105 class. Welcome to week 8. I want to apologize again for the grainy video. My camera just keeps messing up, the one that's nicer one, and it'll even break off the recording in the middle of my recording. So that's not working. So anyhow, hopefully at least you can catch the important part of what I have to say. So this week, you will see that we are covering a dizzying array of isms. But I really think that this week's information is one of the most important parts of understanding the ideologies that emerge in the modern world that come out of Western civilization but basically become global ideologies. Okay? Socialism, communism. We even hear about anarchism, sometimes by our president in reference to Antifa. All these different kind of isms, and sometimes they're used correctly when you hear them on out in the media, and many times they're not. Now, you're going to what I'm hoping is that you will be able to at least get a better grasp on what you see. Now look, I know that on AI, you can just try to look up something and write down the notes. I'm going to tell if you're doing that because I picked very specific videos that have a lot of nuance and cover a lot of different things about these ideologies. Of course, it's not bad if you look at AI to kind of ask it questions to clarify something that maybe you don't understand in the videos or in the readings, but do not, I repeat, do not send me these kind of dry AI explanations for all these isms. I want you to actually watch the videos, and I can tell. Okay. And so, again, I don't care if you're using the AI to get clarification on some of those ideas, but let's look at the videos. Now, there is one thing that I want to mention when I talk about conservatism versus liberalism that I don't think the videos that I show convey, mention. I don't believe so. So, when I was traveling in Europe before COVID, I was in the Netherlands, and I was at a pub, and a younger, smart guy who wanted to talk politics with me, a Dutchman, he said, because I said something about like liberal, and he said, I get confused when you Americans say it because in the Netherlands, liberal means right wing. And he says, but you guys use it differently. And what I actually started to realize is that many European nations still use the term liberal and liberalism in the way that the classical sense did. And they're mainly referring to economics. So and to make it a little more confusing, is he's talking about economics, right? So if you were a libertarian, in a sense, you're just a classic liberal, that you want the government to not to intervene in the economy. And so a socialist-minded person would do the opposite now. That's what you're going to be looking into. But just to kind of hit home more with this, so I was in Cambodia, and I was trying to find any kind of news station that I could actually understand the language, because there was Chinese, there was Vietnamese and Thai, and a lot of Cambodian stations, of course, mainly. And the only English I could get access to was an Australian station that had Australian news. And they were talking about the surprise win of the Liberal Party. It's called the Liberal Party. But in Australia, the Liberal Party, if you looked at their platform, and you could still look it up if you want to Google, it sounds like the Republican Party in the United States. And in fact, it would be similar, not 100%. Again, it is being used more in the classical sense. So, one of the videos, I think one of the first videos, does talk about how the terms conservative and liberal in modern times has switched, but he doesn't, I think, properly address that it's mainly switched in the United States. And other parts of the Western world stick to those terms and a little bit more closer to the way that they were used. And so keep that in mind. Then the other point I wanted to make is that I bring up the topic of Zionism, and I put a video that I made. Look, it's a sensitive topic, and boy, I mean, obviously the Israel-Palestine conflict has been igniting the whole entire world as of late, and it's been a big topic. And more people have been studying it, but it's also been all sorts of it's hard to get neutral sources. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I was it's just neutral when I made the video. This happens to be my expertise, is the Israel-Palestine conflict. And I mainly made the video not for my classes at the time, but more or less for a general audience. And I realized that the one I do on Herzl is still nuanced enough that I feel comfortable to put into the classroom setting. I hope you pay attention carefully to it. Here's the point I want to make. My mentor on the topic is a Jewish man from the South that first fought against segregation, and then he took on what he perceived to be racism and oppression by the Palestinian people experience in the West Bank and Gaza. And so I'm just full disclosure, that's the exposure. So there's two things that I'm just trying to clarify. One, that I'm very much against anti-Semitism. It's not a broad stroke that when I'm critiquing about the Jewish people, Jewish religion, Jewish culture, nothing like that. But I am taking a position that a sort of critique of Israel and its founders and certain ideologies. And mainly why I feel comfortable to say that is because I'm counterbalancing what I think is a massive amount of misinformation coming even from supposedly more scholarly sources on the origins of the state and what Zionism actually talks about and what the primary sources actually say. And that's why I delve into that with you, so that I'm not actually making that much commentary on it. I'm letting the text kind of speak for themselves. And so I'm hoping you're engaging with them. Look, by no means, if you disagree with any of the position that I have, you're not going to suffer. Your grades will be, do the work and you'll get a full points. I would like you to, if you do have a counterbalance to something that was said, or you think in the sources that I used, please feel free to write to me on that. There will be no negative consequence to you for doing that. But I think you will see that my primary sources are extremely solid, and I'm mainly using, like I said, the sources themselves. So I hope you'll actually enjoy delving into that a little bit. And of course, like I said, I think understanding communism, socialism, anarchism, feminism, these are all important to understand. And the discussions mainly, like I said, I don't mind if some of your own opinions kind of creep in there, but really we're trying to just have a discussion and make sure that everybody understands like what these ideas are actually saying correctly. So you can disagree with something, but portraying it correctly. So that's what I noticed with socialism, communism, Zionism, sometimes even with feminism. People will just make false representations of them which are beyond the discussion of whether you agree with those ideologies or not. So I hope that all makes sense to everyone. So, and that way we can just educate each other in the discussions more than have like little internet fights about the correct ideology that we should all be being into or not. So, having said that, I think you guys will understand what I'm saying, and this announcement's long enough. Please always also feel free to contact me, meet with me on Zoom or other hours if you're needing help with catching up or anything else like that. So we will be in touch. Have a great week.